everyone! This is Remleiz from 40k Theories, and welcome to this new episode of Adeptus Podcastus. Unfortunately, Tactical Imperialis won't be joining us for this episode, but do not fret, I am not alone this episode because joining me this time round is the other half of 40k Theories, Naerina.
Hello, and glad to be here, dearie.
Indeed, thank you for being the substitute teacher yet again.
Indeed, but this time, think about it, it's just us two. Once it was like me and Neve, now it's us two. It has been a lot of you guys together, so I'm kind of closing the circle in a way.
We're coming full circle somehow.
Yeah, coming full circle, that's how you say it in English.
Yes. Not to be confused with a perfect circle. But circle even. A serpal is basically an Ouroboros because it's a circle serpent. There you go, it's a circle. Yes. There you go.
Not to
I caught it. I saved it.
Very well done. No one's going to notice anything.
No one knows a damn thing.
Indeed.
So, in the news this week, starting from the bottom up, we got the new Skaven clan rats for Age of Sigmar. I know 40k people will probably go like, what are we talking about Skaven? We don't care. Yes, but we're going from the bottom up on the news list, so just deal with us, please. Just have patience, please. But yes,
besides, rats are cute.
Yes, the new clan rats are absolutely adorable, and I just have to say, I sincerely appreciate the fact that the standard bearer shown in the preview images in the article has male rat and baldness.
Really? Oh god, true. I wasn't even paying attention to that.
You're welcome for the pun. YouTube, You're welcome for the pun.
Yeah, it does give this kind of, like, middle-aged, or not middle-aged, but medieval, perhaps, medieval monk vibe in a way, with that kind
Grumpy
of...
old man.
Yeah, and with the kind of hairdo, and with that... I'm not sure what it's called in the monk's outfit. It looks like a shawl to me from this angle. But still...
I was going to call it tabard, but that's probably wrong as well.
Yeah.
Robes. Monk robes.
Monk robes, yes. It does look like a little bit of like monk robes. Also, the frigging detail in these models, the amount of like holes in the fabrics, and it looks very tethered, and I really, really love it.
And also, the standard bearer also has little rat friends on the base as well.
True. And I think he's not the only one. I think the one with the helmet has one on his shoulder. Yes. Yeah. And
turns out he's actually in charge. He's piloting the clan rat champion like Ratatouille.
True. They should have or someone should make some sort of a homebrewed version of the Ratatouille thingy, just having a, chef's hat on top of one of their heads and just a little silhouette of a smaller rat over there.
Probably be more like a little helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And speaking of Skaven, because revealed today, in fact, for those of you wondering, this is actually the second time we've actually recorded the podcast because first time round, we end up losing one of the actual files for it because the computer update happened. It happens, so... Yeah, but on the plus side, we get to talk about a few more things this time round, so There you go, count yourselves lucky. So yes, sticking with Skaven very briefly, we've got a brand new Warlock Engineer with his Warplock sniper rifle thing and his telescope, which looks like something out of a Disney cartoon.
I was just about
Goofy
to say.
would have or something.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm just waiting for the situation in which we have another Skaven with an even longer... No, what's that thing called? Well, anyway, this kind of measuring contest with how long can you see?
Telescope, isn't it?
A telescope, yes. Goodness gracious, where is my brain today? I presume it's not over here. But yeah, it is wonderful. It looks so handmade and kind of like... It tells a story, doesn't it?
It is like, I see you, I'm going to shoot you, and the rat's going to laugh as well, because he's on my shoulder, looking the wrong way. He's probably watching my back. Who knows?
Oh, that's adorable. Hopefully, at least.
Either that or he's seen an incoming cannonball, and he's like, right, I'm off.
Like, all right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, but still very, very kind of looking worn down, or the outfit is looking worn down. I really, really love it.
It does look absolutely really nice. We can all agree. I think we can all agree that Age of Sigmar has just been pretty much knocking out of the park consistently in terms of its new sculpts.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, in comparison to the kind of rigidness of the posing of the models that we have had by Games Workshop. I think they are kind of getting the hang of things now, and I'm happy. Just happy about this.
Indeed. And also, sticking with Age of Sigmar very briefly, we got some new Stormcast models that were shown. I've forgotten the name of them, I just found the picture. The picture will be on screen for those wondering. You're welcome. Thanks, Naerina. I've forgotten the name of this unit, but regardless, I have to say, this is probably one of the best Stormcast models they've ever made. Period.
It is. And I remember us having a long discussion about this model. Just the amount of detail and the kind of, like, I really like the fact that it's kind of silvery and it looks kind of, if it was all golden, it would be like a poster boy thing, but it's like it being silvery makes it kind of more practical. And as per last time we discussed this, I still think this still brings to mind the Sarafan Lords, or at least the Sarafan Lord.
The Hilden Lord,
Hilden Lord from the Legacy of Kain series, and I just, like, I cannot unsee it. It is amazing.
Yeah. The silver armor with the gold accents and the blue trim, it really works to, like, it really helps to accentuate the details, because if it was like, your standard golden Stormcast, I feel a lot of it would be kind of washed out.
Yeah.
Or maybe it looked too soft.
Yeah,
but this
in
looks
a
like
way.
much firmer, much harder, much colder, much tougher, more badass kind of thing.
It's kind of more steely.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And also, you could probably use this as a very good basis for, like, if you want to convert for, 40k as a basis for, like, a Space Marine chaplain.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you use that mask, instead of, like, a skull mask, you can have, like, that faceless mask, like, or even so, like, a sanguinary priest for the Blood Angels, for example.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or maybe Flesh Tearers in the case of the axe, but yeah, you could definitely do something like that. Maybe swap the shield arm out with, like, a Narcefium. You can make it, like, yeah, you can actually make that work as a Blood Angel, I think. Add a backpack to it, obviously.
Yeah, just add a couple of, like, what are they called? Rosettes or something like that, and write something inquisitorial and draw some Aquilas and skulls, and that would be just, like, amazing.
I'll tell you what it could work as.
Mm-hmm.
Blood Angel's Blade Guard, because Blade Guard have got the storm shields and those big swords.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And since, like, Sanguinary Guard have, like, the masks like that anyway, yeah, this could work as, like, as a basis, as a foundation for a Sanguinary Blade Guard conversion.
Yeah, absolutely. And just thinking about that, the amount of detail in that all the chain links that are there. And I'm just, like, looking at that, like, yeah, I could almost see the kind of because, of course, it comes from, Age of Sigmar. It is historic. It is fantasy related. It could be that if someone was to make a chapter in which there would be, people from a feudal world or something like that, they could honor their kind of legacy by having this kind of material used in their armor.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. And moving away from Age of Sigmar briefly, going on to the Black Library side of things, we recently had the Black Library Reader's Choice. Basically choose which books would you like to see republished this time round. So for 40k, the options were Titanicus, which has been reprinted countless times already, Soul Drinker, which recently had its 20th anniversary. Why do you need another version of it reprinted? I don't know. Ice Guard, which I think may not have been reprinted before. Death Watch might have been once, but that was ages and ages ago, I think. And Silver Skull's Portents, which I voted for because it's a great book and no one fucking talks about it. So yeah, reprint that one, please.
Would be cool.
And it would be cool. And for Warhammer Fantasy, we had Fall of Altdorf, Greyseer, Bloodborne, not the game, unfortunately, Valkyrie the Bloody, and Headtaker. So Sarah Corkwell got nominated twice, so good for her.
Yeah. That's very, absolutely, wonderfully good for her. Also, I was thinking of the same thing when I was reading that titles of the book. I was like, that's not the game. But yeah, I love watching the kind of different kinds of cover art that we have, because in some of these you can honestly see that the art is a bit more, aged. I don't mean it in any bad sort of way. It's just like how fun to look at these pictures and be like, oh yeah, that's a bit older art, isn't it? And that's a bit new. Cool.
Vintage.
Indeed.
Vintage art, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of books, guess who finally got a book after being around in 40k since 3rd edition? Lelith Hesperax is finally getting a novel, and about bloody time. This is going to be part of the character series that also include the Gazgol novel, the Huron Blackheart novel, Shadow Sun, etc. And it's called Lelith Hesperax, Queen of Knives, presumably called Queen of Knives because they realised that Blizzard owned the trademark to Queen of Blades.
I actually don't doubt that at all.
But yeah, like, the interesting thing about this, like, this is actually, like, the very first Drukhari-focused novel with them as a protagonist since, like, Path of the Archon?
When did that come out?
I think that came out about a decade ago.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Let me double check.
Yeah, go for it. I'm just looking at, like, all the different kinds of cover art that there are for this book, and I'm just, like, loving it, absolutely adoring it. Also the fact that Xenas get some love in any kind of books, or in any kind of anything. Still mad about the fact that there isn't a Lady Malice, as a miniature or anything. Anyway, but honestly, I'm just loving the fact that she gets some love. Lilith, you deserve it. Wholeheartedly, you deserve it.
She does. And yes, Path of the Archon came out in March 2014. And can I just say, if you want to buy a physical copy of Amazon, guess how much they're charging for this shit? For a physical copy of this book.
Physical copy.
Yeah.
In which currency?
Pounds. And bear in mind, just a regular mass market retail version, not a special edition or anything, just a regular copy of the book.
£80.
Slightly less.
All right.
£62.
62, all right.
62
I'm
quid.
losing my touch, goodness gracious.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like, yeah, there's no way in hell I'm paying 62 quid for that book. Fuck off. If it was like a special edition, maybe, but, because you can justify it. Special edition, they're fancy, but regular paperback, softback version, fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah. For Heresy Thursday this time round, we got teeny tiny termite assault drills for Legions Imperialis.
Those actually remind me of, have you watched Avatar: The Last Airbender?
I have not, no.
You. Now I have some leverage. Okay, Niv hasn't watched Akira, but I can ask, have you watched Atla yet? Wonderful. Anyway.
Can I ask, when can I stream it?
I think you can, I'm not sure, it depends on where you are, but at least in Finland
because if it's
you can
something
see
I
it
have
on
to pay
Netflix.
for, I ain't paying for it. If I can watch it for free, I'll watch it for free. If I have to pay for it, fuck off.
In Finland you can watch it on Netflix, or you could watch it at some point. I'm not sure how it is at your end. I can check it out and find it out for you if you wish. But anyway, there's this one episode in which there's this big city that has thick outer walls. Wow. And one of the bad guys, or one little team of bad guys, have decided, let's drill a hole in this wall, and it has a giant freaking drill in it. And that just reminds me, or those darling little drills remind me of that big fucking drill. Like, oh goodness gracious, how are they going to stop this time?
Fair enough. Side note, I think Mantic Games did the giant drills better for their, Warpath series, considering that their giant drills have rats inside them.
Why do they have rats inside them?
Because it's a rat people who are piloting the drills.
Well, fair. Also, I love the fact that you can see their little hands/paws there just holding on to the window in a way.
The bars.
Bars, yes. Where is my English today? I have no freaking clue.
I have no idea. Probably the same place where my ability to talk is, because I keep stumbling my words today. I'll probably cut most of those out, or try to at the very least, but
that's
I keep
all right.
stumbling my words, even worse than usual.
Dear, just leave them in so we both sound awkward, so yay.
I always sound awkward. That's not exactly a high bar to cross.
Bold of you to assume I don't.
Bold indeed. But yeah, apparently also this is going to be the last Heresy Thursday in a while. Apparently they're going to use the time now to focus more on, I think it's going to be the Age of Sigmar. Is it 4th edition now? Or is it 5th edition? I can't remember.
I have no clue.
The new Age of Sigmar, regardless of what it is. They're going to focus on that instead.
Yeah. Understandable, honestly, when you think about it. If you have a lot of new models coming out for Age of Sigmar, and if you keep on doing the Heresy Thursday, the optimist in me is thinking like, oh, are you actually giving some breathing room for your workers so you don't have to do it as often as you could? The pessimist in me says like, well, of course they're going to do this so they can lengthen the amount of Thursdays they can use for these kinds of things, regardless of what kinds of models they're showing. So it looks like they're doing this kind of, every week we have something new. What do you think?
I have absolutely no idea. I just spaced out.
Fair enough.
Yeah, sleep deprivation's a hell of a drug, kids.
Don't do it.
I spent so long working on that Dark Throne of the Drukhari video. It took me so long, I had to stitch the entire thing back together because the project file corrupted, and it split all the audio files into like the 2 to 3 second increments in a jumbled order across like 20 different folders. I had to manually stitch it back together in Audacity. I was like, this sucks. And it took me like over 8 hours to do.
How are you still just about sane?
Copious amounts of painkillers and other sorts of medication. And a lot of Pepsi.
Fair, understandable. Honestly, kudos to you. It sounds very good.
Oh, thank you.
You could not tell it that you just made it or made a jigsaw puzzle out of it or something like that, because like it sounds very natural.
Oh, thank you.
Very well done. Very good job.
And speaking of moving along to things that are quote unquote natural but not natural, I have no way how to do this as a segue. Emperor's Children are going to get their own standalone, not codex, but an index, because they're not going to be in the new Chaos Space Marine Codex, apparently.
Why not?
I assume because they're trying to make room for an upcoming Emperor's Children Codex, I assume.
Ooh, that
because they did this with... Indeed. Because they did this with the World Eaters back in 9th, and then they eventually gave them their own codex, so I assume maybe they're going to give the Emperor's Children their own codex, but if that's the case, I'm curious as to what they're going to do with Demon Fulgrim, considering that, his demon model is part of the Horus Heresy range and is ridiculously expensive. I can't imagine Games Workshop making a brand new plastic Demon Fulgrim model just for this codex. I can see them putting the rules in for the resin model. I can see that happening totally.
Yeah.
But I just can't see them making a brand new plastic model this soon after the resin one came out. Like, maybe a couple of years down the line.
Yeah, I think it could have been that kind of like having Fulgrim's demon form from the, Horus Heresy era is kind of a prelude for this whole thing that, hey, people were thinking that this was an amazing model, so let's make this whole thing happen now. And down the line, absolutely, I could see them making a plastic one, but not right now because it's too soon and it would be too expensive. And also the fact that they want to sell the more expensive resin one, if I remember correctly. And I'm just thinking, how is anyone going to get that model from a point A to a point B? Are they just
carefully.
Very, very carefully, yeah.
Considering it'll like break as soon as you look at it funny. But on the plus side, at least it's not on as very thin points like with the Saint Celestine model. If that was made from resin, you'll be having a very bad time. You will be crying because when you have like long bits of like that in resin, they don't come naturally bent like they do in plastic. They come as like one solid straight piece. Because do you remember the what's it called? The Vorax you got me for my birthday one year.
Yeah.
You and a bunch of the patrons. Thanks guys, by the way. I still appreciate it. I still need to paint them, in fairness. But
fair.
But yeah, assembling them, the ammo belts, they just come as one solid straight piece. But if you want to put them together, like on the model, because on the model themselves, on the actual ones you see on the actual Forge World site, well, Games Workshop site now, they're all bent and curved and all that. You actually have to like heat them up with like a hairdryer or something, so you can actually bend it into place. If you had to do it with Celestine's, ribbons and purity seals and all that, people would fucking cry.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking of the Celestine model just now, like from the top of my head and how it looked like. I was like, yeah, if you want to even get close to that kind of bending that there is going on in those ribbons, I would just cry. I would give up and cry and curl up into a ball and be like, no saints for me.
Reclusians, that's it. The name of those Stormcasts, they're called Reclusians.
Yeah. I think we're going to remember like half of the terminology after we have done, recording this podcast. We're like, oh, right, yeah, I should have said that.
You should have said that. And I can just imagine right now, Neve sitting at home listening to us going like, what the fuck are you two doing right now?
Yeah, we're just speed running this.
Sorry, slight tangent. Have you seen people, I don't know if people still do it now, but there was a thing like a couple of years ago when people were making memes of speed running the King of the Hill intro, like the intro to the cartoon, but speed running it.
What?
Yeah, it's like, I found a skip where get from the opening bit again straight to that, the title card. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Making fake speed runs to King of the Hill.
I mean, sure. It's not hurting anyone, so go for it, dearies. But
memes get weird sometimes. I mean, I'm sure you've seen like all the new ones with Foghorn Leghorn.
Oh yeah.
Like I've seen the one like someone's made in regards to Sanguinius. See, I was going somewhere with this. It's that picture, that very famous picture of the Emperor and Horus on the Vengeful Spirit with Sanguinius' body at Horus's feet. And you got a Foghorn Leghorn in front of Sanguinius saying like, I say, boy, you could see the future, boy, but you still did it. The Emperor could have killed Horus and you could have been alive, boy. Kind of thing. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
You need to link that to me. That sounds wonderful.
If I find it, I'll put it in the video, but if not, it'll be on Twitter somewhere, I imagine. But yeah.
I'm eagerly waiting.
Yes. See, I was able to link it all back around this meme talk, see? Yeah.
Yeah, so your brain is basically starting to work.
The power of autism, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. A round of applause for that.
Yes. And speaking of... no, I'm not going to say because I don't want to get demonetized.
I'm here like, where are you taking this theory?
But speaking about things going round and round... Darktide is getting a tabletop game.
It is?
It is, yes. It's basically like, it's going to be like Baby's first Blackstone Fortress in a way it plays. And some of the models in that were actually from Blackstone Fortress. And some of them are just regular models you can just get otherwise. But if you want a chance to get some of the exclusive models from Blackstone Fortress, like Pious Vaughn, for example, or the Primaris Psycho from the expansion pack, you can do so. And it's got some of those nice Traitor Guard models in it as well, so yeah, Traitor Guard's always good. And that Kassakin with the grenade as well, that looks awesome.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of like giving no damns, just on a mission. We're gonna do this.
He's very much Arnold Schwarzenegger Commando.
Oh. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, a tangent.
Get to the balcony. Yeah.
Yet again, a tangent. Have you seen the musicals made about Schwarzenegger movies?
There's musicals made about Schwarzenegger movies?
Yeah, for instance, there is one about, I think, what was it about? Conan the Barbarian, in which there's this guy that sings with a Schwarzenegger voice like, "Come, there's the wizard who killed my mother," etc., etc. They are amazing.
Please tell me this one about Predator.
Yeah. Of course.
Shut up.
Of course.
Fuck off.
Of course there's something about Predator.
You're bullshitting.
No.
You're bullshitting me.
Hold on. I'll link it to you. Where is it? Predator, the musical. There we go. I don't want to download it, god damn it. I want to share it.
I mean, I know in Japan there's like a Resident Evil musical.
Oh, right. But these are not that long musicals. These are kind of like just songs about the movie. So,
Oh.
But still, there you go.
Oh, I thought you meant an actual music, like an actual stage show musical.
That would have been cool, though. But no,
again,
unfortunately.
Because again, in Japan, there's an actual stage show musical about Resident Evil. That's actually considered canon as well.
Isn't there also a musical about, is it called Silverfang or what is it called?
Oh yeah, Ginga Densetsu Weed.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, there is. There's also a musical about, like, Phoenix Wright as well.
Oh god! I need to see that.
Yeah. And Spider-Man.
Ooh. But think about it, by the way. Phoenix Wright, when it comes to 40k, for example, I could honestly see that kind of a game made about 40k. This kind of inquisitorial kind of courtroom shenanigans.
Trying to convince an arbitrator and all that. So he's not a heretic, Your Honour. He's just a bit weird. And speaking of things that are just a bit weird, new models for Necromunda, including the Fixer and the Proxy, and let's be blunt, the Proxy is just 40k's version of Lord Flashheart from Blackadder.
Oh
Woof.
god. Cannot unsee. Still cannot unsee.
He's Flash by name, Flash by nature. And if you give him a proper hat, he would also look like a smashing pimp.
Or a rogue trader. Or both.
Or a rogue trader. Or an Inquisitor. If you give him like a witch hat.
Or all three? Yeah, absolutely. A witch hunter hat would be cool.
He's a witch hunting, rogue trading, inquisitorial pimp. Woof.
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 Also, can we appreciate the little detail that he's missing a button on his non-cane holding arm?
Oh, he's missing a cufflink, yes.
A cufflink, yes. Yes. Also,
Yes.
I'm wondering if that... I think the models, left arm and right leg are both prosthetics. Or am I just interpreting it wrong?
No, they look like prosthetics to me.
Yeah. And I love the fact that with that also you can tell a story. Like, yeah, there have been some incidents with this character, Wolf and all that. But still, like, looking badass. And, of course, the other characters, while having some prosthetics and just looking like I don't give a damn. There's this weird guy just going woof and like saying all kinds of sexual comments. I'm here to do my job. Both of his legs seem to be prosthetics. One arm is a prosthetic, and he's just carrying it like what is that? A suitcase. Like, yep, I don't care.
Yeah, these two are basically just Necromunda's version of Rick Mail and Adrian Edmondson.
Yep, actually, yeah.
They really are. It's Rick Mail and Adrian Edmondson. Cue the bottom theme music, ladies and gentlemen.
I could honestly see someone in the wrestling game, quote unquote, just dressing up like, or a duo dressing up like this, and just like beating the shit out of anyone.
Absolutely. But yes, the purpose of these two is that the Proxy will basically act as an intermediary for outlaw gangers so they can actually still use the trading post, because trading posts won't work with outlaws because they're outlaws. Mm-hmm. But this guy, he'll work on your behalf. He'll get you some shit in exchange for some, some cash, while the Fixer will fix up your stuff. And, it's like, no, but one time only, it's like, right, I'll fix your shit, done, fuck off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So in that regard, he really is Adrian Edmondson.
Yeah, I'm just looking at their poses here as well. Like, the other one's very inviting. Like, yes, come around. I may have something interesting for you guys. And the other one's like, okay, I don't give a damn. I'm just going to fix things.
He's talking about pimping ain't easy again, isn't he?
Yeah.
Cue your Godfather references. God, the Godfather was awesome back in the day.
Oh, absolutely. It still is.
I was referring to the wrestler.
I'm referring to the movie.
Yes. Both are great.
Both are great, yes.
Both are great.
Yes.
Except one's a gangster film, the other one's a wrestling pimp.
Yes.
Can you imagine a gangster movie with a wrestling pimp, though? That'd be awesome.
I can.
There you go. So, what else was there? Oh, yes. To celebrate the 500th issue of White Dwarf magazine, we're getting an anniversary model of the titular White Dwarf himself, Grom Brindle. And it looks pretty badass, you must admit.
Oh, absolutely. That scale mail, that wind in his hair and his beard, the detail of the axe, and like...
the pile of bodies he's standing up top.
I was just about to say, like, that dwarf is just half the height of the model. If that.
The most tactical of tactical rocks.
Yes. The tacticalist rock. And how many swords are there? 1, 2, 3, 4 at least at the base of the whole thing.
I count 5 swords and an axe.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 swords and an axe.
At least. There's probably some more around the back.
Yeah, absolutely. And I presume the braids in his beard are sculpted and not just painted.
Yeah, they're sculpted, yeah.
The amount of detail. If you just look at that braiding, because it's not just like, okay, one part does this, the other part does that. Okay, we have 3 parts over here and we braided it. Good for us. But there are actual, well, not actual hair strands over there, but some modeled 3D work that implies that, yes, this is actual hair that has been braided.
Texturing.
Yes.
Yes.
Indeed. Also the belt buckle. Nice touch.
Oh, yes. I think this is probably like the most serious model Grombriddle's had, because the previous models Grombriddle has had. It's really hard to say Grombrindle, I have to say.
I haven't seen the previous ones. Show me.
Yes, but yeah, this is definitely the most serious model he's had, because the previous ones have been, well, he's been a pirate, he's been a film director, he's been a very tiny space marine, and strangely enough, though, they're not showing the scariest version of Grombrindle, where he was a tech priest.
He was a what? A tech priest?
It was, frankly, it was a very terrifying model, because it also had the Black Goblin as his servitor, and it was creepy as hell.
Oh, God. Oh, God, that's amazing. The whole beard just being frigging electric tentacles.
Mechadendrites, dearie.
Yeah, I know, but that's what they are.
They are indeed. But yeah, I can't find it, but there was like a really, really creepy bit of fan art someone made of this model of like him licking a tear from the goblin's eye. It's like, okay, that's kind of fucked up. It just emphasizes the creepiness.
That is not even kind of fucked up. That is very, very fucked up.
But yeah, like I can understand why Games Workshop didn't add this to the list of the previous Grombrindle models. Like, oh yeah, he's a film director, he's a space marine, he's a pirate. Ignore the tech marine version.
yeah, nothing to see here. Like,
but yeah, it's definitely the straightest model he's had so far. Straight as in the straight man. You know, not as in...
I don't care who he likes or he doesn't like. I care of the posing.
Absolutely. And the posing is good.
It is. And honestly, if you look at the, past poses that there have been for this character, I mean, yeah, they're good. Absolutely. But I still think that newer we go with the models, the more, expressive the poses are. Of course, I don't know in which order all of these characters have been, presented to the greater audience. So, for instance, our Ultramarine, is it newer than, for instance, our film director or not? But still, I think that the posing has gotten better and kind of there's more flow to everything. For instance, with the beard, with the everything, honestly.
And also, I think for the final bit of the news, I apologise if we just seem to be speedrunning it. It's just like we've already talked about him in a previous recording that we've now lost. So we're trying to remember what we said in regards to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, the fact that I'm remembering like things like, oh yeah, we talked about that at point as well. So, oh well, it went already.
So, oh yeah, I remember what we talked about is that the audience don't fucking remember.
Indeed.
So apologies for that. But for the news, we're going to cap it off with the Rumour Engine, which is a claw. Now, some people are saying Votan. I don't think so. It looks far too, frankly, cruel for it to be the Votan. Votan stuff looks a bit, not sleek, but very...
bulky sleek.
Like modern tech.
kind of bulky sleek, something like in between the Eldari sleekness and the human bulkiness.
I'd say more practical bulkiness rather than just like looking objectively cruel kind of thing.
Yeah, I think this kind of looks, I don't know, something about those claws, it just looks kind of too detailed, too sharp in a way, just looking at those little tiniest kind of spikes over there. I don't think it's chaotic because the spikes would be bigger, but still, It's like, it doesn't look Votan to me.
No, and some people suggested orcs as like, it's way too clean to be orc. It's way too clean.
Yeah, unless there's some very weird shenanigans going on just above it, I don't think it's orc either.
No. I reckon it's going to be possibly something to do with Necromunda again, because Necromunda always loves the cool shit.
I was just about to say, this reminds me of Necromunda.
Yeah, it very much reminds me of like, do you remember the Ogren Servitors?
Yeah.
It reminds me of something like they'd probably have if they had actual claws rather than just, big bulky fists. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Particularly like the venting on like, on the wrist, the vent work.
Oh, yeah. Very true, very true. Yeah, I could see that kind of like a fighting version of that. Because like I'm trying to think of other versions of this as well, and I don't think it's chaotic because it's too kind of, in a way, too clean. Not enough spikes and not enough detail to be like...
Yeah, it's not Baroque enough.
Yeah.
Or Baroque if you're American. Unlike us, our country's just Baroque in general. Hey, topical humour, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed. Come and enjoy our senses of poverty. I mean, humour. I mean, wait, what?
Talking of Necromunda, I think I might know what it could potentially be.
Ooh, do tell.
Pit slaves.
How so?
Well, mainly because pit slaves, they were modified for like a variety of roles, including like, combat, manual labor and all that. And with like the original models, one of the versions they had was like a clawed hand.
Oh, yeah.
And with the modern Necromunda aesthetic, I think this could work for a modern day pit slave.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think you might very well be onto something. Because if you look at the detailing in the older models, not on the clawed hand one, but the one with the chainsaw sword as a hand, and look at the belt. Chainsword. Yeah, but look at the belt. There are those small spikes over there, and they are repeated in the rumor engines, aesthetic as well. The rumor engine claw aesthetic as well. So you might be right. You might be onto something.
I'll probably be wrong, though. I always am with these things. Like, do you remember when they teased Vashtor? And I initially thought it was going to be Hero on Blackheart, because I saw, like, like a lightning claw with, like, a flamer built into it. And I thought, the Hero on Blackheart is like, no, it's Vashtor. Who the fuck's Vashtor?
Like, never heard. But,
never heard of you.
But honestly, like, it would fit the aesthetic at least. And if we are wrong, probably we're wrong. We'll be proudly wrong because, well, that's our interpretation of it.
Indeed. Now, possibility it could potentially be something to do with, like, AdMech or something, maybe.
Yeah.
That being said, if you look at the studs at top of the claw, the thumb claw, they do look similar to the ones Vashtor himself does have on his claw. Like, yeah, it does have studs. So maybe it might be something to do with AdMech or DarkMech.
I was just about to say, perhaps not AdMech, but Dark Mechanicus. Yeah.
Dark Mechanicum, yeah. It could be Dark Mechanicum.
Yeah.
Or something, Vashtor related. We'll be coming back to him later.
In before, this is going to be just like, hey, we have an orc hand over here. And we're like, all right.
And it turns out it's for Age of Sigmar somehow. Surprise!
Yeah. Okay, that would be a plot
Skaven.
twist. Yeah. Ooh. I mean, I could see that.
I can't.
But this kind
clean.
of... too clean in that sense. But it's, kind of, if they went even more to the steampunkish, direction with the Skaven, I could see something like that on their models.
Absolutely.
But I'm not sure if they're ever going to.
No, probably not.
But yeah, you were talking about Vashtor.
Yes, we'll be coming back to him later when I do a book nook section,
Ooh.
as it were. Well, it's not a full book. It's more of a short story because I'm still reading through Chaos Child for the patrons.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yes, I'll say this one thing as a free preview. There's a scene where they buy a monkey, and they just buy a monkey because they felt like buying a monkey. So why'd you buy a monkey? I wanted a monkey. Okay, then.
As one does. Yeah, absolutely.
As one does.
Reminds me of a Rogue Trader game where I was playing as the Rogue Trader, and the sigil of the house was a golden hawk. And we went on a random planet. We were exploring, etc., etc. And there was this kind of yellow hawk over there, Xenos hawk with 4 eyes, etc. And my character was there like, yes, capture that one. And if you happen to find any other of its kind, from, different sex, so that they can reproduce and we can make more of this for my, relatives. That would be lovely. And actually, they did manage to find at least, I think they managed to find 2 at some point, but at first it was only the one. And it was the pet hawk of my Rogue Trader. And I think I have a drawing of him somewhere over there, but I'll send it to you later.
Fair enough. Right, so, bloody hell, we're blitzing through at this pace. So this may have been a slightly shorter episode than usual. For that, we apologise. Unless we decide to go on a bunch of random tangents, which we could do.
Yeah, well,
but then
basically,
again, some people will be like, "Oh no, not again."
Basically, what we're doing is we're speedrunning, not our intro, but something else. So we're kind of doing the trend, but a little late.
Cue the King of the Hill music. No, that's Bonanza. Yeah, I was playing Bonanza like down.
Yeah, don't speedrun that because the horses are going to get tired.
And you don't want to speedrun a fire either. It's like, what the fuck are we talking about? I don't know.
We're beating a dead horse at this point. Hey.
Hey.
Anyway.
A horse that's dead tired. Hey.
Easy. Also, when it comes to speedrunning, etc., of course, because we have done this once before, we have kind of missed some of the things that we may have talked about earlier, in the earlier version. Of course, you're not going to know of those things. But if I can encourage you when it comes to those, any kinds of, pictures of that we're going to, show you guys of the models, look at the detailing. Look at, for instance, the hems of the capes. They might be dirty, or any kinds of like, hey, is that paintwork or is that sculpted, etc., etc. Because these people who have made this, they're just amazing. They have done amazing work, and these models are gorgeous, absolutely wonderful. I encourage each and every one of you to just look at them and enjoy the show that people have put on with these models.
Absolutely. Oh, found one more thing. A bunch of old orc models are getting put on made to order.
What?
Yep, so the old 3rd edition orc dreadnought's been made to order. If you want a nice big metal orky dread.
Ooh, don't tempt me, dearie.
As well as the old 3rd edition orc knobs. Stop laughing in the back, you pervs. And the one that made me the happiest to see it, the 2nd edition Blood Axe Commandos are getting a re-release.
Oh, they are adorable.
The old 2nd edition Commandos, they are brilliant. I love them.
With the commando, the hats and everything, and they're wearing backpacks. Oh, that's adorable.
Yeah, because again, these are the old 2nd edition models. So back when Blood Axes were very, very, very much imitating human culture to like an obsessive degree. Like they'll dress like humans, they'll use human military tactics and stuff like that. It was great.
just look at some of them that are wielding anything, with which you can shoot. And if, it might just be that they're aiming. For instance, the one on the lower left, just closing their one eye and aiming with the other. That is adorable. That's like, you miss do this, so I'm going to do it too.
I will say this, speaking from my own experiences playing Orcs back in 2nd edition, Blood Axe Commandos were possibly the most broken infiltration unit in the game, with the possible exception of Lictors.
Oh?
Because these were armed, these weren't sluggers. These were bolt pistols back in the day in 2nd edition. They were armed with bolt pistols and power axes.
Oh.
And because they were infiltrators, you could literally set them right outside your opponent's deployment zone. They had to be no more than 8 inches, no closer than 8 inches to an enemy model or whatever, and they have to be set up in cover. But, if you get close to, a priority enemy target like a tank, turn 1, if you're lucky, if you're close enough, you can literally charge a tank on turn 1 and wreck it with your power axes.
Oh, God.
They were broken as fuck.
Oh, God, I would have loved to have seen you play these. Oh, yeah. God, that looks amazing. Oh, just these are just, they're adorable.
They are adorable. Yeah, Lictors were the only thing more broken because, they were a monstrous creature. They were -1 to hit because of the chameleon scales, and they caused fear. So it's oh, fuck. Fear being charged by a fear-causing unit on turn 1, that's... Yeah. Especially if you're a low leadership army, like Imperial Guard or Orcs at a time, congratulations, half the army's running away on turn 1. Turn run! There you go. Yeah, I meant to say that. No, I didn't, but I'm running with it. Hey!
Yeah. running with the Orcs because you're afraid of the Lictors.
Yes. And also Warhammer Heroes Series 4, which is a bunch of Primaris models. Hooray.
I mean, that's not surprising.
In fairness, I do like the one that's throwing the grenade. It's ugh.
Oh, yeah! And it's kind of it's sculpted so that the smoke is just attached to the hand. Oh, that's so clever. Very clever.
I can now see that for conversion opportunities. You're going to put the hand on someone's shoulder saying, Steve, let it go, man. It's over. Don't do it, Steve.
Indeed. Also, yet again, the posing looks very good with these characters. Of course, some of them are a bit more rigid than others, but if you are a sniper, you are not running. You are aiming, you are shooting, and that's why your cape does not need to move. In contrast to the other cape that we see over here, because it is clearly, or the character is clearly on the move, as are, not all, but some of these characters. And I think it's very good to see this kind of... Well, if you are playing a game about, people doing war things, attacking, etc., it's good to show some movement.
Absolutely. Right, so this week I haven't read any full books because I'm still reading through Chaos Child, as I mentioned earlier, where they bought the monkey.
Yep, the monkey book, as it shall be known from this day on.
Yes, the cast is just monkeying around with it, but anyway. So instead, I've read a couple of short stories from the Space Marine Successor Chapter subscription thing that came out a couple of weeks ago.
Ooh, do tell.
So, the first one I'm going to talk about is called Tally of Slaughter, which is about the Executioners, which is one I didn't actually talk about last time we recorded this.
All right.
So it's going to be completely new for you.
You're going to get genuine reactions.
You're going to get genuine reactions.
I mean, you are going to get genuine reactions regardless, but still, this is something that I don't remember reacting to. So,
because you didn't.
Indeed. Would be odd if I did and I just forgot.
Yeah. So, it's after the advent of the Ultima Founding, the Executioners have completed their penitent crusade, and they got a whole bunch of Primaris reinforcements as a result, but because they were on their penitent crusade, prior to that, they weren't allowed to take any more, additional recruits, because, terms of the penitent crusade. And we start off with a deaf speaker, which is the chapter's term for a chaplain, named Razzle. R-A-Z-E-L. Razzle. It's
please tell me there's going to be a Dazzle there as well.
Sadly not.
Ah.
I'm probably just going to end up calling this guy Raziel, because it's just going to be easier for me around to call him Razzle.
Just remember to drop your voice like at least an octave downwards, like Raziel.
It's like, Raziel.
Get away from you, elder being god thingy.
R.I.P. Tony J.
Yeah.
Anyway, the chapter has been declared as being redeemed. They've redeemed themselves over the course of the Penitent Crusade, but Raziel here does not accept his redemption because he is on a quest for vengeance. A group of astral claws, who the chapter fought alongside with during their boarding of the Pyre of Glory, a salamander ship during the Badab War.
Mm-hmm.
Now, these astral claws, they've fallen fully to chaos, and they've become a Chaos Space Marine warband called the Ushmengar.
Ooh, fancy name.
Indeed. I have no idea what language it's meant to be, but it sounds cool.
How does one spell it?
It's like Ushmengar, off the top of my head.
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah, so Ushmengar. But yes, Raziel has recently undergone the crossing of the Rubicon Primaris, so he is now a Primaris Marine. Just like all the other surviving members of the Executioners, they have all crossed the Rubicon Primaris, except for one librarian named Ikaruga. Because the chapter decreed, he's our only firstborn librarian, we don't want to risk it, so no, he's not allowed to cross the Rubicon. But yes, Ikaruga is the only firstborn Executioner left.
Oh, poor little dearie.
And I can hear some people already, screaming into the void or frothing at the mouth in anger.
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't blame them. Because, only one firstborn Marine left in the entire chapter. It's oof, that's going to be a bit divisive.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, Raziel is conducting his ritual where he's transferring the names written across his old suit of armor onto his new Mark X, and Ikaruga is watching him from the shadows. Raziel's like, do you like watching me from the shadows? I'm here to make sure that you don't get too obsessed with your quest for vengeance, throwing away your brand new body, in the pursuit of vengeance, of the Ushmengar and all that, because, we've been redeemed. Do you really need to go through this? Yes.
Hello there, Batman.
Yes. Where are the other drugs? Joker, what are you doing with that Lopunny? Sorry.
and I'm here just thinking of the video of the small cat and the person who owns the cat wearing a Batman mask, where's the catnip? And that just cat going no, I don't know. I need to send that to you too. Anyway, you were saying.
Yes. So Raziel is basically assembling a task force. Basically, these executioners who actually fought alongside him when they fought alongside the Ushmengar back when the Ushmengar were astral claws.
Mm-hmm.
Complicated, yes, but stick with me. They've tracked the Ushmengar down to a volcanic world, which was being used by the Adeptus Mechanicus for mining operations. Basically, there's giant mobile forges that literally just walk across the surface of the lava flows, just scooping up minerals, like giant robot crabs, essentially.
That sounds very badass, actually.
Yeah. And it turns out the Adeptus Mechanicus on this world were subjugated by the Ushmengar because they were a bunch of cowards. Like this is our forge now. Don't hurt me! Essentially.
Fair.
Yeah. So, yeah, they've tracked down the Ushmengar to this world, and Raziel's looking in particular for the leader of the warband, who is a guy called, trying to remember his name, Kagan, I think it is.
Okay.
Is it Kagan? Or Kaga? It's something like that. Does it say on the actual Black Library site? No, it does not. I'm just going to call him Kagan. Okay, be easy.
All right, yeah.
I probably got the name wrong, so if I got the name wrong, leave a comment down below. But anyway. So they land on the world, they land on the mobile forge, and they're basically beating the shit out of a whole bunch of Skitarii. And Raziel sees, in the corridors of the forge, he sees, a shadowy figure of a space marine, glowing red eyes, the outline of the spiky arm and all that. It's it's Kagan. Right, I'm going to beat the shit out of you. Smashes his way through a bunch of Skitarii, smashes his way through a bunch of cultists. About to smash Kagan with his Crozius. Kagan disappears. It's just a shadow. Boom. It's
Aww.
Bastard. He got away.
Oh, God. He's a proper edgy boy.
He is a proper edgy boy. So they go to the bridge of the forge, because it's a mobile, land ship, essentially. And they beat the shit out of the Skitarii there. There's a bunch of servitor ogrins that attack them, so Razia ends up taking this Crozius and smashes it against like a steam pipe, and it basically cooks them all like with like superheated steam. It's like, don't worry, lads, we got Mark 10 armor, we're fine. Everything else on the bridge is like being cooked by superheated air. It's like, oh, okay then.
Yeah, well, a steamy situation.
Yeah, they got a bit hot under the collar.
Yeah, a bit, yeah. They couldn't take the heat. Yeah, I'll just show myself out. Anyway, you were saying.
Yeah, so moving out of that hot situation, they realised that Kagan and some of the other Ushmengar are actually in the core furnace of the forge, the core furnace.
Mm-hmm.
So they make their way down there, and they see that Kagan's performing a ritual, like a whole bunch of consecrating rings like spinning around in the forge. There's a big storm of psychic energies, and Kagan's in the actual center of this center of these rings, and he steps out, black armor, spiky armor, shadowy armor, and a whole bunch of mechadendrites. He's a warpsmith now.
All right.
And it's like, oh, Razia, I remember you.
Aww.
Yay. It's like, yeah, I remember you too, Kagan. You should have died on Badab. It's like, oh, we did die. We died when we got stuck in the warp fleeing Badab. But thankfully, we found a new patron. A new patron called the Arcaphane. Told you we'd get back to Vashtor.
Ah, true.
Yes, we're offering up this entire mobile forge to Vashtor, as a sacrifice, because he remade us in the war. Basically, he's turned us into his own version of the Legion of the Damned.
Oh.
And by us, I mean us. The rest of the Ushmengar arrives going, hi, we're going to have a fight now. Daka, 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 daka.
I mean, that's a badass twist.
Yeah.
But also the fact that you go just like, hi, we're all here. Daka, daka, daka. It's kind of like, aw, kind of adorable, kind of hilarious. But yeah, very good plot twist. I really like it.
Yeah. And not just that, but because the storm of energies in the center of these rings, like this portal, Vashtor's starting to come through. It's like, oh, fuck.
Ooh, very awkward indeed.
Yeah, right. Ikaruga, your librarian, can you hold off the warpsmith while I just smash these rings up with my big Crozius? Sure thing. Lightning bolt, boom. It's like, no, I stab you, I stab you. It's like, oh no, Ikaruga's dead. But don't worry, I smashed the rings. And he smashes the rings, and the Ushmengar basically just dissolve into shadow in dust.
Oh.
It's like, that was kind of anticlimactic.
Then again, they were already dead, so...
True. The portal closes, so with that done, the executioners take the dead bodies of their brothers back to their flagship, and they take some weapons from the Chaos Space Marines as trophies, and with the death of the librarian, there are now no more Firstborn in the executioners. All the Firstborn are gone. They're either dead or they've crossed the Rubicon Primaris.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I don't know about you, but that feels a bit like a kick in the balls to all the Firstborn fans, I have to say. Oof.
Well, I would know nothing about kicking anyone in the balls, or receiving those kinds of kicks, but from what I've heard, it hurts.
Yes. I suppose a kick to the ovaries, then, I don't know.
Oh, ow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or a liver punch. Have you been hit in the liver?
Dearie, I'm not sure if you've grasped the concept of me being a girl and not being hit that much, because we do mental violence and not physical.
No, but even as like an accident, because I was like, I've been hit accidentally in the liver, because there's a bit in the ribcage where your liver just hangs down just a little bit past the ribcage.
Ow?
Yeah. Yeah, and it just like, because your liver's like, oddly shaped.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so part of it hangs below the ribcage rather than just all contained within it. So if you take a shot there, it's like really, really painful. It's like, ah!
Haven't been hit there, but I have had kidney stones, and it is hell. So I can imagine huge pain.
It is huge pain because there's been instances of UFC fighters being hit in the liver, and they've just gone, knocked out completely. Essentially, it's like
understandably so. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So if I say it sucks.
Mm-hmm. And I can imagine, from the point of view of the story, when you first told that there's this one person who has not gone over to the other side to cross the Rubicon Primaris because he's the last one. I'm like, oh my god, he's so dead. And yeah, it is very sad from the point of view of the chapter. Like, well, that's what happens.
Yes. Meanwhile, at the Forge of Souls, Vashel just watches the portal close. This is before, obviously, the execution is fucked off. But he's just like, bit of a pisser. I wanted that forge.
Yeah.
Still, I've got these executioner body parts, like these bits of their armor. And I take my hammer and I'm going to start making something out of it. He's going to make some more of his Ghost Space Marines out of it.
Ooh.
The end.
Ooh. That, like, honestly reminds me of, well, have you watched the Castlevania series?
I have not, no.
Because there are these kinds of people who can make demons or demon armies. And, for instance, there's this one guy called Hector who has a hammer, and with that hammer he can make these kind of demon soldiers. And I was just, like, flashing back to that series, like, ooh, I mean, how cool is that?
Very. Whenever someone says the name Hector, I'm just reminded of Hector Guerrero.
Oh, God.
Who was also the Gobbledygooker.
Yeah. Fair.
Poor guy. But anyway, that was Tally of Slaughter. It was alright. The twist was good. It was a good twist. Like,
absolutely.
Oh, shit. Vashal's making his own Legion of the Damned. That's cool. It's just saying the rest of the story was a bit, I suppose that's the best you can say. It was okay.
Yeah.
Not amazing. Not shit. Just okay.
Who wrote it?
A guy named Mark Anthony French. Oh, sorry, Mark Anthony Fenech, sorry.
Yeah, pardoning your French over there. But yeah,
so
like...
First glance, you see his name that's like Fenech. You easily think like, oh, French.
Understandable. But yeah, like, I don't know how much, like, he has written stuff, but it does sound something like, you know, I would like to read at some point, and I need to Google what sort of other things he has written, because, like, if there isn't a lot, I think it's a very good place of, you know, improvement, etc. And if he has written a lot, I would like to read something in a longer form from him, just to, you know, get the kind of hang of it, like what kind of a writer he is in short stories and in longer ones.
Absolutely, yeah. And the other short story I read from this subscription service this week was a Lamenter's one called Tears of Raphelia.
Ooh.
By Richard Swan. Not the wrestler. I mean, if it was the wrestler, Rich Swan, that'd be fucking awesome, but...
I mean, if we have Meatloaf doing singing and acting...
And William Shatner doing rapping.
Oh, God.
Oh, speaking of which, not William Shatner, but you know Joe Pesci released a rap album?
What?
Yeah.
When?
Oh, God, I have no idea when, but it was like a thing called like Wise Guys, I think it was called.
Right? The more you know.
The more you know. Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Oh, God, send me the link. All right, then.
Yeah. So there you go. Joe Pesci had a rap album. There you go.
Yep.
Apparently he had multiple albums. Who knew?
Of rap?
I don't know if they're all of rap, but he had multiple albums at the very least. They might have been thematic. I don't know.
I mean,
but
we don't know at the moment.
We don't know at the moment, no. But anyway, Tears of Raphelia. Yes. Basically, a world has been invaded by the Tyrannids, and it's up to the Lamenters, the Blood Angels, and the White Panthers to stop it. Long story short, the Imperials are doing a very, very shit job. The world is pretty much fucked. The air is clogged full of, like, you know, alien spores, so it's, like, impossible to breathe without, like, respirators or a helmet or anything like that. And we start off with a lone Primaris eliminator named Ramathos, who's, like, stalking his way through the ruined cities, like, you know, making his way past a whole bunch of dead bodies, you know, seeing, like, dead Nids, dead Guardsmen, dead Space Marines, and all that. Like, everything's rotting in the mud. It's really hot. It's hard to breathe.
Thinking of why he's on holiday here.
He's feeling very depressed. You know, it talks about how the gene seed of the Lamenters makes them all depressed.
I mean, Lament is depressed. No, never.
But it's like a legitimate gene seed flaw is depression.
Oh, God.
Or melancholy, if you prefer.
Poor little dearies. It's like they can't catch a break.
They can't catch a break.
I just want to cuddle and hug one of them and just pat their head like, there, it'll be all right.
And then he eats your head because they got vampirism.
Well, congratulations. There's hairs all over it.
Anyway, they got acidic spit. It doesn't matter.
Fair. It's just a bit more fibre.
But yes, anyway, he finds like a ruined building and he climbs up it, and he spots in the distance a winged Tyrannid Prime, which has basically been commanding the local Nid forces. And he realizes, like, right, I need to kill this thing because if it gets reabsorbed by the hive mind, they're going to have tactics for the Lamenters, Blood Angels, and White Panthers. We can't allow them to have that, advantage. I need to kill this.
Yeah, understandably so.
So he takes his bolt sniper rifle and aims at it, and he's like, come on, move out the fucking way to all the little gargoyles flying around it. He's waiting for the perfect shot, and as he's waiting, he gets attacked by a group of Hormagaunts.
Like, hello!
But these are feral Hormagaunts because they've been untethered by the hive mind, so these are completely feral wild animals. He kills all 3 of them, but his bolt sniper rifle is pretty much fucked. It's like, okay, the barrel's still intact, just. Magazine's fucked, all the ammo's fucked, except for the one chambered round. So if I do get a shot off, I need to be lucky, and luck is something we don't have because we're the Lamenters, infamously unlucky.
Yeah. Poor little dearies.
Poor little dearies. So he takes up his bolt sniper rifle, and the Prime's gone. He's like, for fuck's sake.
Oopsie.
So he climbs back down the building, is like making his way through no man's land, making his way through the mud. He sees the ruins, the ruined wreck of a Baal Predator, and a whole bunch of corpses laid by it. But he hears something under the corpses. He moves the corpses out of the way, and there's an intercessor, a Lamenter's intercessor, that's still alive, but only barely.
Woo!
It's like, hooray, I have a friend. And he's got 3 Hormagaunt blade scythe arms impaled through his body. Now I'll be fine. You got maybe like
it's just a flesh wound.
You got maybe about a day left in you. A day's all I need. I'll be lucky. You sure about that?
Yeah.
Yes.
As
now
we
let's
are.
just lament. We are lamenting now. We take our lamenting prayers. Right, but anyway, we need to stop the winged prime. Okay? I need to shoot it. What can you do? I can intercess. Because I'm an intercessor, baby. So they go into the ruined wreckage of the Baal Predator, and luckily the weapons rack completely intact. So it's like, oh, a bunch of bolt rifles, we'll take some of them. And a bandolier of crack grenades, we'll take those as well.
What is this heresy? They're actually being lucky?
Who knew? Who knew indeed?
It sounds very chaotic to me.
Very sus.
Indeed.
Yeah, emergency boardroom meeting, but anyway. Are Among Us memes still a thing? I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's a good game. I enjoyed it at a time. Or something. Anyway, go ahead.
Tales of old as time. But anyway, yes.
Are we going full on Disney over here?
Well, the Lamenters are Disney princesses. Anyway. But yeah, Ramaphos says to the intercessors, like, right, we need to draw the gargoyles away from the Prime so I can get a clear shot. But they're not going to be drawn away by just one guy. You need to basically pretend to be an entire army.
As one does.
I can do that. That's what these grenades are for.
Boom, 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 boom. I want you in my room.
Boom, 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 boom. This gun will spell your doom.
Oh, very, very good.
Yes. So Ramaphos finds another building and he climbs up it. He's like, right, okay, I need to get ready. I need to make the prayers, I need to make the lamentations. Boom, boom, boom in distance. Like, God damn it, you set off too early, you bastard. Right, I ain't gonna have time to pray now.
Indeed. You can't hear the lamentations of the women.
No. But what is best in life?
Crushing your enemies at the very least and seeing them driven before you.
Hey, it all comes back to the Conan musical.
Indeed.
We come full circle. But yes, the gargoyles are drawn towards the intercessor's position because they think it's an entire army by the sound of the grenades. But one gargoyle peels off and heads towards Ramaphos' position. And it's like, does the Prime know I'm here? Or is it just being cautious? well, I'm going to hide under my cameline cloak and hide in this corner here, wait for the gargoyle to get close. And as soon as I get close, I'm just going to stab upwards with my knife. It cuts itself in half with a knife. It flies into a building. Dead. Yeah, I don't think the Prime noticed.
Yeah, nothing to see here.
But yes.
Also, now I came up with a 40k version of this situation. It's not Beauty and the Beast, it's Duty and the Beast. Because you just have to shoot the beast.
Polite golf clap.
Yay.
Yay. But yes,
yeah.
Some of the gargoyles start peeling away from the intercessor because they realise, like, oh, it's just one dude. We don't need all of us here. So Ramaphos is like, right, got one shot. The bolt propellant's kind of fucked. I need to be very, very, very lucky. Bang. Dramatic pause. Kills the Prime in one shot, and all the other Nids go berserk and start attacking each other. It's like, yay, we did it. Now the Imperium can finally reclaim this world. I need to go and tell my intercessor friend. And he's dead. The end.
Well, he did not throw away his shot, but yeah, that's a very lamentous kind of ending. Like, yeah, people died.
They died. The end.
In a way, dutiful, happy death.
Yes. But funnily enough, though, the Mentors, even though they've gotten Primaris reinforcements, they haven't completed their penitent crusade yet. They're still on it.
What?
Yeah, they're still on it. It's like, man, fucking Lamenters can't catch a break, can they?
I'm just imagining that Gilliman has been just like riding around, quote unquote, the galaxy, like, where the hell are they? I would like to tell them that they don't have to go on this crusade anymore, but they just keep missing each other, and missing each other, and missing each other. I mean, that would be the Lamenter's way.
It would indeed. It would indeed.
And the whole Imperium of Man just collapses under the weight of, where the hell are these guys? I need to find them. Gilliman, we need you on Terra. There are things to be done. Yeah, but I need to find the Lamenters. I mean, that would be...
And now for some reason, I have no idea why, but I've now got a mental image of that, you know that Leonard Nimoy song about Bilbo Baggins?
Oh, yeah, I do.
But about Gilliman?
Oh, God.
Like, Rabute, Gilliman, bravest little Primarch of them all.
Oh, that's adorable. Please, someone make a version out of that.
It's probably got too many syllables in it, in fairness.
No, true, but as said, someone make a better version out of it.
Booty, Gilliman.
Oh, rowboat, girl man.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it might be time for some questions, don't you?
Ooh, yeah, absolutely. And because
could you be a dear to bring them up?
I'm have been a dear. I already have them over here. And
Wunderbar.
Yeah, dankeschön. I think we're doing the 2 last episodes, if I remember correctly, and you have not had time for the questions.
Yes, because last episode, Wib and Neve were nattering away like a pair of old women over a cup of tea.
I mean, young women can also do that. Also, men can do that. So, but I understand the reference. Absolutely. But yeah, let me see. Over here. Question. If the Warhammer Fantasy planet is 3 times as big as Earth, what does that mean for its gravity?
Knowing Games Workshop, absolutely nothing, because Games Workshop doesn't understand science.
Yeah, very true.
Because you remember, like, with the salamanders, they say, like, oh yeah, the salamanders are slower than other space marines because they, their home world's got a higher gravity. I'm just thinking, wouldn't that actually make them faster then?
Yeah.
Because, like, their higher gravity would actually make them, faster in a lower gravity environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like with, John Carter of Mars. On Mars, he was a superhero because he was raised on Earth, which has a higher gravity than Mars.
Yeah.
So he was, denser musculature, more powerful and all that. And I was going to call John Carpenter of Mars. Like, no, not John Carpenter of Mars. John Carpenter's a different fucking thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking about, and now I'm just going to show more of my ignorance, because I have never watched Naruto, Naruto.
Neither have I, don't I?
Okay, excellent. But someone may crucify me for that. But anyway, so I don't remember the character names. However, I have seen the scene in which one of the ninjas was training, and I think it was the coach or father or someone like, hey, okay, you can take the weights off now. And they were like, oh, great. And dropped these kind of huge stone weights of their ankles. I'm not sure if they had them on their wrists as well, or he had them on his wrist as well. And he became super fast. I'm like, well, if Naruto knows this, how can Games Workshop not know this?
It's basically your typical anime power limiter bullshit type thing.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
with I think a more commonly known example would be from Dragon Ball Z with Piccolo with his weighted cloak.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, I'm not a physicist. I think if Neve was here, he could... Oh, no, she. Goodness gracious, where is my brain? That's why we have only the word for Han in Finnish. We don't do the genders. She could tell us that, all about the physics thing. But even we know that if you have a big planet, it has big gravity. If you take anyone from Warhammer Fantasy, just yoink them into space, congratulations, they become super fast. If they're, assuming that the spaceships have the kind of Terran gravity over there. So, yeah. Let's take, I don't know, Gotrek and Felix. Gotrek's gonna kill everything.
I mean, Gotrek will just kill everything regardless, because he cannot die, because you could argue that Gotrek is probably the biggest failure in all of Warhammer, because, his one job is right, I'm going to get killed today. And he survived the entire death of the world. It's for fuck's sake. Mm. The world blew up and even I survived. What the fuck, guys? It's just me and the batshit insane giant rat.
Yeah, but think about it. If Gotrek had been on Cadia, just looking at that, the planet cracked before that guard would. Gotrek's there just with them, all right. Yeah.
If Gotrek was on Cadia, he'd pull some Ferris Manus bullshit. He'd see the Blackstone Force. He'd just catch the Blackstone Force, just twat it like a baseball or something with his axe.
Yep, absolutely. So
all while screaming, "Brian, blessed!"
So Cadia fell because Gotrek wasn't there.
Yeah, precisely. That's fact.
Mm-hmm. I hope that answers your question. But anyway, next question.
So yeah, in short, Games Workshop doesn't understand science.
Yeah. But we do. Haha.
Well, I don't.
We pretend that we do.
I'm an idiot.
Idiot savant.
I never went... Maybe idiot savant, but yeah. I never went to university, for example, so,
Meanwhile, I'm here with my master's degree in English, confusing he and she. Oh, goodness. Sorry, Neve, did not mean to. Anyway, next question.
She's going to be so angry with you.
Yeah, she is going to, honestly. Because, she is the most adorable, wonderful person. And she deserves all the good things in the world.
I need to make her some cinnamon buns.
Ooh, that would be lovely. The next time I'm visiting UK, I'm just going to... Well, I'm not going to raid her, address because I don't know where she lives. But... perhaps I'll just come and get you and we'll raid it together so that we can feed her some cinnamon buns.
Surprise cinnamon bun raid.
Indeed. Throwing them into her window let us in. And now she's not going to open the door for anyone for the next, I don't know, couple of years.
Oh, dear.
Anyway, let's not scare Neve away. Neve, you're amazing. That's the whole point of this. But next question. What if the Horus heresy started, but Horus never got corrupted by chaos? Will events be essentially the same, or will there be drastic changes? Since it could be possible the Lunar Wolves are fighting instead the Sons of Horus, not really literally, but in a way.
There would undoubtedly be a crap ton of differences because...
Oh, absolutely.
It just, quite frankly, there'll be far too many to actually list in this video.
Perhaps we should make another one about that.
Perhaps. No guarantees, but perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Giving
but
you
suffice to say, if Horus never, fell to chaos, then, who that leave? That would leave, Lorgar, because he was the first to fall, so he'd probably fall still regardless.
Yeah.
Fulgrim, but only if he still, picks up the Lair Blade.
Mortarion?
Mortarion, because Mortarion was a prick.
Yeah. Angron.
Angron was pretty much cursed just because of the butcher's nails. Perturabo wouldn't, however, I don't think, because, like, you know, if Horus didn't turn, and Horus says, like, look, Dad appreciates you, he just has a hard time saying it, and I appreciate you, and he'd be like, okay, I'll stay.
Yeah, like, honestly, if you told Perturabo anything positive about himself, because whole darling dear is just kind of trodden down, etc., just tell the guy that you appreciate him, and he'll be on your side.
Basically, the reason why Perturabo turned traitor in the first place is, like, he basically drew a bunch of blueprints for architecture. It's like, look, Dad, it's like, wow, Pert, this is great. I'm going to put it on the fridge right next to Rogel Dawn's. And he just chucks it in the bin.
Yeah. Oh, poor little dearie.
I was going to do an impression of Ringo Starr. I have no idea why.
That's a good question. But yeah, what was I supposed to say about something about, like, who would have fallen?
Something about Mary.
Yeah, could be. Don't remember.
That's a callback, isn't
it? Indeed it is. But I'm just wondering, like, from the point of view, like, Magnus, I don't think Magnus would have fallen. Or would he have?
No, I don't think he will, because, like, Magnus turned traitor because he was kind of forced to because of the whole burning of Prospero thing. And remember, it was because Horus had turned traitor himself that he basically turned around and said to Russ, hey, Russ, you know when Dad said that you should, arrest Magnus? No, you should kill him instead. Okay.
Yeah, I remember. I remember, like, the video about it being like, hey, these are the right orders, not the ones that my dad gave, but the right orders are over here. But, like, a very, very cunning move from Horus, and I don't think that Lorgar, though I presume that he has to be smart because, he got Horus on his side. I don't think Lorgar has that kind of strategist in him, or what do you think?
Well, the thing about Lorgar is that a lot of people forget that he was also incredibly charismatic, probably the most charismatic, maybe after Horus, if not more so, because he had, a preacher's charisma, didn't he? So
yeah, true.
He was basically like, a televangelist, in a way. Just,
oh, God.
just less evil. That's a controversial take, isn't it? Or is it not?
Remind me to tell you of our latest Dark Heresy campaign in which one of the main villains was technically a televangelist.
For only $4.99, you too can get the Emperor's toenails.
Oh, God. Oh, goodness gracious.
Cheese and onion flavour.
No. It's salt and vinegar.
Oh, smoky bacon, surely.
Fair. Just as long as it's not ranch.
Oh God, no. we're not savages.
Indeed. When it comes to Disney songs, barely even human. And now I need to watch Pocahontas again.
Now I know what to put in the video description. Like, we talk about cheese and onion toenails.
Oh God. Fair. But
apologies if you're listening to this while eating your dinner. We apologise.
Yeah. We're so very, very sorry about that one as well. But yeah, I'm thinking when it comes to the question, and especially the past, like, will events be essentially the same or will there be drastic changes? What sort of battles would we be missing from, the Horus heresy if Horus wasn't there? I mean, some battles we might have in different capacity, but are there any battles that we would just completely miss?
Yeah, I think the biggest one we'd miss would be the Battle of Molech, because it was on Molech where Horus got his power from the Chaos Gods.
Yeah, true.
So if Battle of Molech never happens, that's in itself a massive change.
Very true, very true.
There's bound to be others as well, but that's going to be the big one.
I'm wondering, like, what happens to burning of Prospero?
That wouldn't happen because obviously, Russ would just carry out his original orders and taken Magnus prisoner.
Yeah, unless something just like made someone to tip over the edge and start a whole war about it. But I think Russ, though in a way impulsive, would have followed the orders.
Oh, and also, the Interrex wouldn't have been killed off either. The Interrex will still be around.
True.
So there you go.
Also, what do you think? If we ended up in a situation in which Horus wasn't, corrupted, but Emperor still ends up on the golden throne, how does he get there?
Magnus fucking up, probably. It's always Magnus's fault.
Aww, poor little dearie.
It's like that old meme, like, objective, don't fuck up. Magnus, wow, this looks hard.
Yeah.
Anyway, next question.
Hold on a second. There we go. Question. In regards to Games Workshop's hyper-focusing on competitive with their garbage balancing decisions, what are your views on house ruling? I think it makes games more fun as long as everyone on the table/club are cool with it.
As long as everyone consents to it, house ruling is perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable, and can be extremely fun.
Yeah.
So yeah, go for it.
Absolutely.
If everyone agrees with it, If everyone agrees with it, go for it.
Yeah, as long as you explain the rules and you have the rules somewhere that one can kind of check them. For instance, because I have been in situations in which, role-playing wise, in which I have encountered some cheating and this kind of rules bending to the, advantage of someone. So if you have the rules somewhere, just like, okay, these are the homebrewed rules, this is actually now this is that, etc., you are absolutely golden. For example, for our, this is for tabletop, RPG version of this. For our Dark Heresy games, for example, we have, or our Game Master has decided that he's going to give us a bit more XP in the beginning, because otherwise you are going to be, acolytes for a brief moment before you just die. And from the point of view of having a proper, RPG experience as a campaign, he decided that, let's give these people a bit more experience in the beginning so that they are actually qualified to do their job and they just won't die at the very beginning.
Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Making the experience more enjoyable with homebrew ruling, absolutely. Go for it, dearies.
Go for it indeed.
Yes. Next question, and actually our last question. Not many questions this time. Anyway, after the heresy, how many people on Terra survived the battles?
Not many.
Yeah. Steve is dead.
Poor Steve.
Yeah.
There were like the casualties on Terra following the Siege of Terra was numbering at the absolute minimum tens of millions, at the absolute minimum, and even that's a gross underestimation.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just thousands of Space Marines. There's also tens of thousands of Imperial Army, mutants, beastmen, abhumans, civilians.
Yeah, and not all of these kind of tactics that were used on Terra, I'm pretty sure not every single one of them were happening in the... Was it in the Himalayas, or where was the palace with the golden throne? Anyway.
The palace was around the Himalayas, yes.
Yeah. Not every single one of these battles happened on Mount Everest, quote unquote. So there has to have been other battles on all sides of the planet just to make sure that people are spread thin so that you can actually do the big attack there, on the palace or in the palace, whatever. And just the amount of civilians that there are on Terra, or there were on Terra, and just, people not qualified to do this kind of fighting in that same manner as, for instance, Astartes, the amounts that people survived was, it was a miracle how many of them, quote unquote, survived, because it was not a lot.
Yeah, because remember, after Fulgrim got his shit kicked in by Rogel Dawn, the Emperor's children basically decided to prey on the civilians. Well, fuck the fighting, we're going to beat up some civilians because they can't fight back. And it was also all the diseases that the Death Guard was spreading, they were affecting the civilian population as well across the world. So it's not many.
Yeah. Also, that's really a dick move to just go after civilians.
What's the Emperor's children? What do you expect?
True. But yeah, that's the questions.
Fair enough. And on that note, I think we shall call it there for this episode. So, apologies for it being a slightly shorter episode than usual. Again, it's mainly because we, went through all the news last time, lost the recording footage, and have to do it again. So it's like, So,
Yeah.
apologies for that. But next time, it should be not as, king of the hill, as it were.
Yeah, hopefully not.
But yes, next episode is the penultimate episode before the return of Quizcastus. And I will say this. We got some new games for it. So enjoy that. Yes, because you're coming back, mainly because, well, we were supposed to have someone else, but they had to pull out, so Naerina is being a substitute teacher for them as well.
Yay!
But we are going to have at least one new contestant. Obviously, Oculus is coming back because he's the defending champion. He needs to defend his belt.
Yep.
And Neve's here because, well, Neve's a co-host, so of course she's going to be here.
Indeed.
She's basically she's the Batista of the group. She always has the infinite cheat code for unlimited title shots.
Yeah, and she wants that belt back.
Yes, she does. But will she get it? Who knows? You'll have to tune in for that episode to find out. But until then, everyone, thank you very much for joining us for this episode. We hope you enjoyed it. And until next time, this has been Remleiz from 40k Theories.
And this has been Naerina, also from 40k Theories.
And we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.